Don't be so precious with your work. Just put it out there. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. I got hired by the Lincoln Project, which is a political organization here in the States, and did video stuff and then eventually podcasting stuff with them for about 4.5 years. I did some short form reality stuff. I did some branded content stuff. I did some commercials. I did some short documentary stuff. I didn't do a lot of long form stuff. I think I've edited 3 feature films in my life. People get very precious about their work. They get stuck in one project and they get very, very obsessed with it and precious about it. In some cases it's good, but I think in some cases you're just delaying. You're afraid of failure. I'd be editing for years because I think in the end I was afraid of finishing it and it not being good. There's a fear of failure, right? Because to finish it is to say, here it is. Now you have to see it. If you're good at what you do, you can make a thing and it'll be good. Editing in film is really one of these industries that's very much based on who you know. It's based on personal connections. It's not based on a lot of the jobs I got in New York weren't about going online and looking for jobs. It was about a friend calling me or calling a friend and saying, do you know anybody with work, and getting work that way. And I feel like that's just the nature of the industry, for better or for worse, frankly.
Welcome back to the episode. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Jeff and he's from Ohio, United States. And today we are going to see his 15 years of experience in creating powerful stories through his video and podcasting journey. He has worked on multiple video projects, from political campaigns to global brands, producing award-winning podcast episodes. I can see you have some films as well, premiered at Sundance. So that is a film festival?
Yeah. One of the most prestigious film festivals in the country, yeah.
Did it happen in the US or outside US?
Yeah, no, it's in Utah.
Utah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Just walk us through your journey. How did you get into the podcasting, storytelling, and basically video editing? Post-COVID, podcasting started as a video focused platform. Before COVID, I would say that was audio only platform. How's your journey for this 15 years?
Yeah, well, I always used to record. I used to walk around with a tape recorder when I was a kid, just recording interviews with people. And then I got a video camera and did the same kind of thing. I was the person who kind of carried a video camera all over the place, everywhere I went, kind of annoying people. And then when I had the chance, I went to grad school for film and television, and made some films there. And then moved to New York City after that and was a video editor, working as a video editor for just freelance for a bunch of different companies. Also making my own films. The one film did get into Sundance, but made, 5, 6, 7 projects of my own. Edited for a bunch of different companies, doing freelance stuff all over the city. And then about 7 years ago, I moved to Columbus, Ohio for an art director job, selling for Hollister. It's Abercrombie and Fitch, basically, the clothing company, and did video for them, art directing video. And then after that, I got hired by the Lincoln Project, which is a political organization here in the States, and did video stuff and then eventually podcasting stuff with them for about 4.5 years. And then just this year, I left the Lincoln Project, and now I've got my own podcast that I'm producing and editing and making myself. So, but no video on that one, actually. That's just audio only, because I feel like people generally will be more open when you talk to them if there's no video. They're not as self-conscious. Yeah.
You have great journey starting from the scratch. I could say you did your bachelor's back in 1992 in the arts.
98, I graduated from my bachelor's degree, and that was English. It was English degree, and then I got my film and television degree in 2008.
Yeah, great. When you started your graduation, you had any thought okay, I want to pursue art and want to get into storytelling thing? That was your final decision?
Yeah, I've always been kind of an artist. So I did theater when I was a kid, and I've always kind of been inclined to music and arts and stuff like that. So when I was trying to figure out, I was living in South Korea for 2 years teaching English there. And that's when I kind of taught myself and learned how to edit on Premiere Pro. And so from there that's when I applied to film school from there. Because it just seemed like, seemed like a logical thing to do after already doing video for a lot of my life. It seemed like logical. I'll go to film school.
But nowadays, I could say most of the people are getting into film school, how would you describe, like, film schools are getting more and more expensive? Like, you spend 50K, 60K on a film school. Do you think that's worth of money, spending that much money on a film school? When I finished my bachelor's, I was trying to get into New York Film Academy, NIFA, that is based in New York City. But when I got quotation from them, like, it will cost you like 60K. I was like, damn, that's a lot of money. I could get 50 FX3s in that much money. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's a really good question actually. Like I truly I don't know whether it's worth the money. The film school I went to was extremely expensive and I'm actually still paying for my degree. So yeah, was it worth it? I think what you get out of film school is mostly the connections. Like I've gotten tons of work from people that I met in film school. I mean, when I was in New York, most of the work I got was oftentimes through a connection, somebody I met at film school, just passing work along. So I'd say, when I occasionally go to film schools and talk to the students before they graduate. And my advice is always to like meet as many people as you can, because these are the people that you're going to end up getting work from. So in that sense, like it is kind of worth the money, but in an educational sense, I would say, I don't know. It's a hard one in the era of YouTube, when you can learn everything you need to know from the internet. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, the access to having access to the gear is good. That's one thing, but really, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tricky question.
Yeah.
Because it is expensive.
Yeah. If you have
Yeah.
money, if you can sponsor your studies, go for it.
Right. If you have money, sure. Yeah. But if you don't have the money, maybe just watch some YouTube videos and, use your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your overall working experience when you started your career back in the days, when you started, like, let's say 15 years back, you started your career? YouTube just came, like, I think it came in 2006, but
Yeah.
it got popular after 2015, I would say, like 2015, 2016, when people got an access with their Androids or iPhones. They started watching YouTube videos, they started consuming content. But back in the days, like when you started your career, that time it wasn't that accessible for people. So how was your experience working back then and working right now? Like, how would you describe your experience? Was it hard for you, like producing content at that time? Because I'm going to jump on AI thing as well. Like, for the scripting, we're using like Chat GPT. Like we could script in like just a seconds. But back in the day, like you used to have like films. Did you shoot on films?
I did. I mean, I'm not really a shooter. I'm more of an editor and a director, but I did shoot on film once or twice in film school. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass. But it's kind of fun, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Anyways, like coming back to the question, like how was your experience working in the starting early days and now? Like, do you feel like it has become so much easier for the people producing content?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely changed quite a bit in the last 15, 20 years because, I mean, profoundly, because like everybody's got a phone now and anybody can make a film, hypothetically speaking, with the phone in their pocket. It doesn't mean that they're good movies or it's good content, but it means that they can if they want to. And when I was starting out, yeah, you had to buy or rent a, $5,000 camera to get, 1080p, good quality video. I mean, it's all a double-edged sword too, because you can, with YouTube and Vimeo and all these places, you can now share your content with a wider audience than ever before. But also there's so much more content than ever before. So a lot of the content that you make now just kind of it's very hard to get attention in this world with the media landscape being so oversaturated with content. How do you make your content stand out as opposed to, just being part of the river of content that just kind of flows by every single day? That I think is the most difficult thing in this day and age. And frankly, it's a little disturbing to see what's becoming of media, because now it's just these very, very short videos that are very, very choppy and cutty and just designed to be the grabbiest videos of all time, but not necessarily to be good content, just attention getting content. You know what I'm saying? Like TikTok, it's just like, what do they call it? It's a garbage video. Like it's just, a lot of it's just garbage. But it's entertaining garbage. So we continue to watch it.
Back in the days, like
Uh,
people used to consume a lot of long form content. Like
yeah.
they used to watch full length movies, they used to watch full
Hmm.
length episodes,
Yeah. Yeah.
short
Yeah.
films. Nowadays, I would say like people have lost their attention span. They'll be like
For
just
sure.
doom scrolling on their internet, doom scrolling on the
100%.
media. Has that affected the production industry as well? What do you think? Like people have started producing more of a short form content instead of just long form content?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, when I was at Hollister, the clothing company, that was when, and that was in 2016, 2018. Yeah, 2018. 2019. They started having us make 6-second videos. And I was like, what? 6-second videos? They're like, yeah, that's what everybody's doing now, these 6-second videos for YouTube. And I thought we were doing 15s, but we would do like, for every video we'd make, we'd have like a minute long one, a 30-second cut, a 15, and a 6. And then we also started doing vertical, which was new at the time, doing actually shooting for vertical as opposed to shooting for horizontal. So that was interesting. And now, of course, all of it's like, 6-second content is everywhere now. So yeah, but I remember when at first being very kind of like, really, 6 seconds, really?
Ah.
But here we are. Yeah.
6 seconds. Yeah. So, how was your experience? Did you enjoy, or you just like?
Working at Hollister, making the content, which did I enjoy working at the clothing company?
I mean, like
Or
working on short form content.
it's a challenge trying to get the information in 6 seconds. You have to get a certain amount of information to sell a product in 6 seconds, and trying to get attention and also get a message out in 6 seconds. That's the tricky part,
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a challenge. I guess it was kind of fun. I didn't enjoy selling clothing at all. I didn't enjoy doing retail and working a 9 to 5, but that's not what you're asking. So I worry about the kids these days because like my attention span is terrible now. Like I'm 51 years old and my attention span sucks. So like I can only imagine what's going to be happening with the kids these days with their attention spans, because like I'm bored by 2-hour long movie now. I'm like, I need to, yeah.
Back in the days, people used to create meaningful content, even if it's long form. That was meaning.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I could see like people doing it for just a trend, even if it's a long form. That doesn't have a story. It's boring, and people are doing it just for namesake. Like, okay, I need to finish this video. I need to post it on social media or OTT.
Right.
And it's not that interesting. If you go back in 2006, Breaking Bad released in 2006, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
2005,
What was
Breaking Bad.
Mhm. Breaking Bad? Yeah, great show.
So that is still one of the sexiest show ever exist on the internet. I would
Yeah.
say. What do you think about this storytelling? Like how it has changed, or what is the role of a storytelling in any video, whether it's podcast, whether it's long form video for a brand, or whether it's like political content? How do you think like storytelling plays a very important role?
Yeah, I think that so for the most successful film that I made, this short film called After You Left, that the one that got into Sundance, we made that for $500, right? It was not a lot of money. We spent it all. And we didn't even have very good cameras or anything. It was entirely improvised. But what we had was a good story. Like the video wasn't great. The audio was good. The audio always has to be good. But like, I think if the story is good, the lesson I learned from that was that if the story is good and the story connects with people, that they'll forgive a lot of other elements. They'll forgive maybe bad video quality or whatever it is, as long as you've got a compelling story. They won't forgive audio. And how has storytelling changed? I mean, I don't think storytelling necessarily has changed, because I think that the nature of story is kind of a timeless thing. Everybody wants to, it's always the same 7 stories. There's only 7 stories they ever tell. I think the challenge has become telling a story that's going to catch people's attention on YouTube in the first like 10 seconds of the video, because that's like our attention economy, you got to grab them right away. or you're not going to, I don't entirely pay attention to that in my stuff anymore because I just don't care to. But like, if I were to really try to get people to pay attention to my stuff, or if I was to be working in retail again, it would be, you got to grab them in the first 5 to 10 seconds because otherwise they're just going to stop watching. Yeah.
For your style of editing, or whether it's like for the branded content or political content or podcasting content, like, has it changed over the 15 years of period, like, or did you stick with the same style of editing for your projects?
Oh, no, everything gets faster. Yeah. You've got to, I think you edit twice as fast now. For sure, at least. Yeah. And I mean, and things like branded content, that didn't exist when I first started out, but that's kind of a big thing now is branded content. I edited tons of that stuff. Kind of didn't like editing it, but still, nevertheless, you have to get paid. But yeah, I'd say everything has become a lot more cutty. I even feel like I used to, like, in my 30s, I feel like I was very much in tune with what the editing style of the time was. But now I'm 51 and it's like, I don't understand what the editing style, like Mr. Beast and all these things, I don't really understand. I don't really get it. Yeah.
I'd say like Mr. Beast content is purely made for the kids, children under 15 years.
Sure, but he's making a fortune, and like whatever he's doing something right because he is, it's impressive in whatever way. Yeah.
How long you have been editing for video podcasts?
I'm not editing a video podcast now. I'm editing I'm the only podcast I'm working on right now is my own podcast that I just started about 4 months ago. And it's audio only at this point. I may change to video just at some point, or may do some episodes in video, but it's a podcast that's just basically having conversations with people, and lately also just me doing a road trip across the country. I didn't want to do video because I do feel that when you start pointing a camera at somebody, they become more self-conscious and are less inclined to open up emotionally as they would without a camera on. But I also understand that that all podcasting seems to be going to video, and that's how you get more viewers. So I don't know. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, I was doing video podcasting with the Lincoln Project before last year. And yeah, I did that for about a year. And that was kind of how I got into podcasting. I didn't really have an intention to get into podcasting, but they asked me to produce the podcast. So I was like, okay, I'll learn how to do it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's an interesting thing to dive into kind of head first to see, because there's so much podcasting. I mean, I think there's over 1 million podcasts out there now. And so trying to understand how to navigate and get attention for your own podcast, and how to record, how to use Riverside or whatever platform you end up using, and how to edit it and all these kind of things. It was very interesting to me. I did enjoy it. I didn't necessarily enjoy working in the politics at that point, but it was certainly an interesting experience to be in that job.
So you're currently working in political field. How's it going?
No, I'm not working. I'm unemployed right now. I'm just doing my own podcast, which if people can go to 1FJeff, you can put it in the show notes if you want to. And yeah, I actually might be starting to work on a podcast about migration once I get back to Ohio in a couple of weeks. It's a job that I actually got because of my own podcast. So, so that's great. But yeah, I think I might just start looking for jobs working in podcasting because I do enjoy it, and it's less complicated than editing video. So, and I can do it anywhere too. So yeah.
Yeah. The most common mistakes beginner editors make in their journey. What do you think? Like, most common mistakes?
That's a tough one. Editing to me is so much of either you get it or you don't. And I think that it's really kind of an intuitive thing. It's like music, right? It's like you either understand how these pieces are supposed to, for me anyway, you either understand, it's always just a feeling to me. It's always just like, if I'm editing a narrative thing, I can just feel how it's supposed to feel rhythmically, when the edit's supposed to happen. So I guess I would say the mistake would be, I don't know, going into editing when you're not perhaps good at it. Or I would also say, like, if you want to work in editing, a mistake that I made was like not making as many connections as I possibly could in the industry, because that's, editing in film is really one of these industries that's very much based on who you know. It's based on personal connections. It's not based on like, a lot of the jobs I got in New York weren't about going online and looking for jobs. It was about a friend calling me or calling a friend and saying, do you know anybody with work, and getting work that way. And I feel like that's just the nature of the industry. for better or for worse, frankly. So yeah, just meet as many people as you can earlier in your career, and those relationships will pan out, hopefully, as you expand in your career and get you work and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I would say like as an editor in the beginning stage or in the starting stage, instead of focusing on technical things, should focus on more on networking, connecting with like-minded people. And nowadays, like people have more access through social media, like how we connected. I got in touch with you within just 2 days, maybe.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has become more easy, I would say. Focusing on more on these things would help a lot if they really want to grow
If you,
in.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
When you started your career, that time, I'm sure like you started with small projects and eventually you started taking on big projects. So how did you transition from like working on small projects to like taking on bigger projects?
You mean editing wise?
Yeah, editing wise, like how did you connect with people? Because that time there wasn't social media. I think Facebook was there, but in terms of networking, in terms of like getting quality works.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess my career started. I was in New York City. After I got out of film school, I moved to New York City, and when I made my own work, my own films, I worked with people that I had met. With one guy I had met in film school, a good friend of mine, and then some other people that I already knew who were actors in the city. So I just already had these people that wanted to work on stuff. So that part was easy. As far as like paid work, my career in New York with paid work was, kind of just random. It was a lot of, I did some short form reality stuff. I did some like branded content stuff. I did some commercials. I did some short like documentary stuff. I didn't do a lot of long form stuff. I think I've edited like 3 feature films in my life. I mean, in terms of going from the smaller content to the bigger content, I don't know that ever happened necessarily in here I was on small content and then I was on bigger content. It was kind of like small content and then big content, small content again. Because like sometimes you'll get a video that's like supposed to be a minute long, but it'll take you a week or 2 to work on because it's an incredibly complicated video that has like 60 cuts in it, right? Or you'll get a long film that's very easy to edit because it's not got a lot of cuts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it really depends on the subject and what they're looking for, what the content is, not necessarily about the length or the size of the project, But yeah, I mean, I've worked on stuff. There's like 20 cameras shooting a thing. And then it's just a matter of like sorting out the cameras. And, you have an assistant at this point. So you've got a person to sort through the footage and tell you what's good. And then you can, yeah.
Did you enjoy working solo or like in a team?
It depends. Like when I worked on my own work, I feel like filmmaking in general, making films is very much a collaborative effort. In fact, I completely kind of dismiss the auteur thing. I think that's ridiculous. I think that every film is good because everybody who worked on it did their own thing, art director, costumes, whatever it is. But in terms of paid work, yeah, I mean, when you're an editor, you generally do work alone. So most of the time when I was editing stuff to get paid for it, I was doing it by myself. And yeah, I generally didn't mind it. I started to get annoyed. I mean, I think when I went into podcasting because I was getting perhaps lonely editing by myself. So I thought if I do a podcast, I can talk to people at least, which has been nice because it does get isolating. You have to be comfortable being by yourself all day staring at a screen because that's what editing is, sitting at a computer all day. That's what a lot of jobs are now, unfortunately.
Yeah, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
What is the one thing like you enjoyed a lot in your career? If you want to say pick out only one thing, and you want to live it for your whole life from your career, like what would that thing would be?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's been a lot of highlights. I mean, getting into Sundance was a dream come true. It's like the one film festival in the United States that everybody wants to get into. Like it's harder to get into. It's harder than Harvard to get into, right? So to get into that was really on a film that we spent very little money on and kind of just made very haphazardly. That was an incredible moment. And going to Sundance was also incredible, meeting people and, celebrities and so forth. So that was great. Living in New York, doing that thing, that was fun. Working for the Lincoln Project, that was certainly an interesting. I mean, given the political climate in America, kind of being a part of this political organization that was very much a part of the American political climate in this very disturbing time in America, was definitely an interesting experience that I'll never forget. Being a part of that. So yeah, I guess it really varies, you know.
What was LinkedIn project like? Can you just give more details in LinkedIn project if possible?
Lincoln Project it's a super PAC, like a political action committee. They basically, or we, whatever. It's a super PAC. It's all donations. But it's an anti-Trump political action committee that we made videos that were basically just like trying to prevent Trump from getting reelected. Anti-Trump basically was basically our entire platform was making. And so I would make like funny. It was a lot of our video content was like funny and kind of edgy. And so I would take videos and make find videos on the internet and then remix them and make weird edits of them to make people laugh and make Trump look stupid. And yeah, it was fun for a while. And then it became dark. But America has become pretty dark. So
at first I thought like it's related with Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln Project.
It is. It is actually. Yeah, that's why it's called the Lincoln Project. But it was started by former Republicans who didn't like Trump, so they wanted to get Trump out of there, and it kind of went through a lot of different stages. But yeah, when I started right before the election in 2020, that was a pretty exciting time to be working for that organization. Yeah, because we'd have videos on the news all the time, and yeah.
Yeah, nice. So how's your current life going? Like, are you enjoying what you're doing right now? Like,
yeah, I've been great. I am traveling. I drove across the United States. I drove from Ohio out to California, and stopped in a bunch of different national parks and stuff. And I've been doing the podcast as I go. So I've been kind of making the podcast, 1F Jeff the podcast, into like a travel log kind of a thing. So I've been talking about my trip as I go, and talking to people wherever I go about their lives and stuff. It's been really great. And then I went to Colombia. I was in Bogota, Colombia last week, with the woman I'm seeing. And that was amazing. Then I come back here. Now I'm in California again. And then this weekend I'm going to start driving back to Ohio, but I'm going to go like down to Joshua Tree and then over to Vegas and Denver. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Really, yeah. Yeah. I do need to get a job at some point, but you know, I have a little bit of money. So I'm like, when else am I going to have a chance to travel like this? And I can use the podcast as an excuse to travel. So if anybody wants to hear the stories of my travel, you can go to my podcast.
Nice. Like, so where do you see yourself in like next 5 to 10 years? You should ask me this question, but I'm asking you, like, you're almost 51. So where do you see yourself like in the next 10 years? Life is unpredictable.
I'll tell you, ideally, I'll tell you what my dream is and what I'm trying to make happen is I'm trying to find a way to make money on my own terms, right? I don't want to work for I don't want to work for a company, or I'd like to find a way to make money doing the thing that I want to do, which at this point is the podcast, which I realize is a very difficult thing to make money on a podcast anymore. But I don't know. I feel like I can do it, or at least a podcast with some freelance podcasting work that I could do on the side. I'd really like to travel around, and I'd like to not have a home base and kind of be a digital nomad for a while, podcasting everywhere and editing podcasts and whatever I can do. So yeah, that's kind of what I would like to do, because I've never been a fan of like the 9-to-5 corporate blah, blah, blah. I can't do that. I don't like it. So I'm really trying very hard to figure out a way to make a living, make money, make enough money to live on my own terms, and doing something that I enjoy doing. So hopefully, you know, I mean, I know that probably everybody wants to do that, but I don't know. I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I could actually do that. You know, there's a lot of places. Yeah. Even like when I was in Colombia, where I wouldn't want to live there, but it was super cheap. And the woman I'm dating is from Mexico City. And I don't know if Mexico City is a wonderful place to visit.
Yeah.
And it's very, very cheap as well. So yeah, there's a lot of places I could go and visit.
Yeah.
That I love to visit.
I mean, US is much more costlier for you. Expensive.
Crazy.
Cali is expensive. New York City is expensive. Like both of them.
the Bay Area where I'm at is expensive.
Yeah.
$4 for a cup of coffee. $4.
Shit.
My rent in Columbus is a cheap place to live, so my rent in Columbus is like 1,500, which isn't that bad.
And here in Cali?
I'm staying at my friends in California right now, so I'm not paying any rent here. My house is in Ohio, and that's much cheaper than California. California is very expensive. And what about you? What are you going to do in 5 years?
Same.
You want to travel?
Yeah, I'm really travel enthusiast. Like I do a lot of travel photography content as a hobby.
Oh, right on.
Before COVID, I was not making any money. So when I started making money, because traveling is very expensive. Whether you're traveling in India or you're traveling in US,
Are you driving or are you taking planes?
Whatever. Like if it's like within the state, I prefer to drive. If it's out the state, then it's better to go with the flights. And transport over here is very cheap.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. What do you think of artificial intelligence playing role in video editing? 2 years back, I was manually editing podcast episode, but now within just a click, you're getting the podcast edited. Yeah, a few years back, like you used to write your scripts, you used to hire someone to write your scripts, like a copywriter from some place, like for your YouTube videos. Like now you just go to ChatGPT and you get the full script, like whatever you want. So what's your take on artificial intelligence and how it's going to play a vital role in video editing, video production in the next, let's say, 5 years? What do you think?
I think that with AI, I think it'll take, if you were, my philosophy of it is like, if the people who are going to keep their jobs are the ones that are understanding how to use AI in their jobs. The ones that are just like, no AI, blah, blah, blah. Those are the ones who are going to be gone. I think that as with any technology, you need to be like, the thing you need to do is you need to know about it, like learn about it, learn to use it, learn how you can use it in your workflow, because it's going to come. But I will also say that, I mean, I use it a lot. I use it for things like, I don't use it for scripts because I think that the way that it writes is not that I don't think it's that creative yet. I mean, I think it's pretty, like it seems generic. Yeah, exactly. Will it become, will it get to a point where it is being genuinely creative? I don't know. I think probably, and that's what worries me a little bit. But I don't know. So I'll use it for my podcast and I'll use it for to episode titles and stuff. But then I'll tweak them because it feels I'll use it as like a idea generator. But then I'll take the ideas and kind of make them my own, to make them personalized, because it does feel generic. And in terms of, I have a friend who's working with the video stuff, the video models. And that stuff is really, that stuff like both excites and worries me at the same time. Like it's incredibly amazing what they're already able to do with these generative video models. Like they're already making entire commercials that look real. And eventually I'd say in 5 years, they'll be able to make an entire feature film with just like, you'll type in, I want to see a feature film about a rabbit who, whatever, anything. Will it be a good film? Probably not. Will people still want content with real human beings in it? I don't know. In 10 years, 20 years, will people still want? Will it get so good? Like the question becomes to me, will the video generation models get so good that they'll be able to generate content that looks as real as reality, and as entertaining as reality, right? Will we still need Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt or whoever, or will we just have, AI? Will we be able to get emotionally attached to AI video, right? Will it feel the same? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. And also, what's going to happen to the world when we have fake content coming out of our ears, when you won't be able to tell what's real and what's fake, right? Like in 5 years, I could be watching you and saying, I don't even know if this guy's real, Yeah, no, it's scary. But also, like, I find technology fascinating. So I'm also like kind of at the edge of my seat. Like I'm leery of it, but there's nothing I can do to stop it. So I might as well just embrace it because it's what's happening. So to reject it is kind of, I feel like kind of foolish because it's coming whether we like it or not. So you better just learn about it and use it and play with it because you're not going to be able to not work with it, because it's going to be there.
Yeah, a robot's not going to match your emotions. If people are performing in any video, like whether it's like feature film, whether it's like short film, any movie, people can replicate or people can execute emotions very well on the screen. I think that part is very necessary in terms of connecting with the content. If you don't have an emotion, I would say like AI can't produce that emotion in your video.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet, but
that's the thing.
It will, yeah, it will.
It could, for sure.
Sure.
It's going so fast too. Like it's between, I don't know if you paid attention to the Google models, but like the Google video thing between 6 months ago and then the thing they released about 3 months ago, it was like night and day. It was so much better. Like it was amazing how much better it was. And if they did that in 6 months, like imagine what we're going to see in 5 years. Like I have no idea.
Definitely. It's going to change the game forever. But in the meantime, I think people should not get lazy. I feel like people are getting more lazy using this AI thing. I got lazy because a few years back, like when I used to work on like my own passion projects, I used to scribble a lot of ideas, like scribble a lot of things. Like I used to have pen and paper. Nowadays, like I'm just like, hey Siri, or like, hey Alexa, hey ChatGPT, like just help me out with this thing, like scripting. Let's say if we were supposed to shoot this podcast episode, like even like 2 years back, I would have like worked on this pre-production thing for like 2 hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Like, what questions should I ask this guy? Like, what is he interested in? Like, what is like specialities in? Now I just need to give the prompt to AI. Like, okay, this is the person I'm interviewing, and just list out the 50 questions for me, and I'm just getting the responses like very quickly. I think that
did you tell the AI? Did you tell the AI you were interviewing me particularly, or just a person, just a random person?
Yeah. So basically, what I did, I took all the information from the internet, from the LinkedIn page, who you are, what you do, and I gave a prompt like, this is the guy I'm going to interview. His name is Jeff. He's based out of Ohio. 15 years of experience in the video editing field, podcasting, then working on political branded content, narrative content, and his own podcast as well, One Jeff. And then
One F Jeff.
Yeah, One F Jeff. Yeah. Then ChatGPT almost sent me 50 questions because I asked for 50 questions. So yeah, basically it has become a lot easier, but you should know how to use it. It's not like
for sure.
Because ChatGPT doesn't know who Jeff is, right?
No.
Unless and until you give the information, like how I gave the information, like 15 years of experience, who you do, what is your profession, what you do. Now you are unemployed. You don't have any job. You're traveling in California. ChatGPT doesn't know that.
No.
It knows
my ChatGPT knows that.
Yeah, your ChatGPT knows that, but my ChatGPT doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's tricky and useful.
But it's a good baseline. It's a good place to start though. Like it's like honestly, with things like that, it's like doing the research for you in a way. Like the internet research, like it's great for that kind of thing. It's just when you're using it to like actually come up with full length scripts and stuff, that's when I start to say maybe not. When you're coming up with full length script ideas with ChatGPT and saying, which I'm sure people are doing, but I don't know if I mean, who knows? Maybe some of the films I've liked are ChatGPT based, but yeah, I think it's a line, where it's a good thing to use and where it's a bad thing to use.
You have to give one advice to upcoming creators who are coming into this creative field and who are like sticking with the long form content, not like short form TikTok cringe. Mm-hmm. I mean, like quality content which has like storytelling. Most of the videos are like storytelling, having a lot of ideas, a lot of value in these videos. What would be your advice for those people starting their journey? Let's say someone starting their journey in 2025, like what would be their advice? What would
people who want to make long form content? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, long form content, like meaningful content, not like cringeworthy, like TikTok scrolling.
Well, what's interesting about the podcasting space is that like it's the one area that seems to be a place where people are actually willing to listen to a 2 or 3 hour podcast of people talking. Like when you're looking at it's kind of strange because we've got so much short form video being so popular now on TikTok and Instagram Reels and so forth. But then in the podcasting space, you've got 3-4 hour podcast interviews that people are just listening to the whole thing of or watching the whole thing of. So it's very strange. It's like this weird parasocial relationship because I think people are very lonely now. This isn't necessarily answering your question, but I'm going to go off on it anyway. I think people are really lonely since COVID. People have gotten more locked into their computers and their technology and are less locked into their friends and their family. And I think the reason podcasts are kind of blowing up right now is because people are lonely and they desire this like parasocial relationship that we have with podcasters where it's like you're having a conversation, but you're just not talking, right? You've got these people just talking in your ear. So I don't know but your question, to answer your question, what my advice would be, I don't know. It really depends on what kind of content they're trying to make. I'd say that, there's still great movies being made. I've seen quite a few good movies this last year. Are they easy to get made anymore? Is it easy to get into the film industry now? No, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So without a celebrity of some sort or without a shit ton of money. So I don't know. I would say, hopefully you have a lot of money or know a lot of people who have money.
Yeah.
That would be a good place to start. But also like, honestly, my advice to anybody getting started in the media industry would be meet as many people as you can, foster your connections, foster your relationships, because those relationships will really help you. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give to anybody going into this field, because it is so much about the relationships that you have and the work that you'll get from these relationships. The more people you know, the more people you are in touch with, the more likely you will know somebody who has a job or has an opportunity that will come your way, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally genuine advice, I would say, because networking. If you could network, you can increase your net worth.
Yeah. And I hate networking, but it's honestly like really good there's a value to it because just fostering relationships is important.
Are you introvert or extrovert?
No, I mean, I'm both. The reason I don't like networking is because it feels phony to me. You go to these networking events and you have to talk about chit chat. I don't like that. Like my podcast is very much talking about getting in depth with people, getting into, their childhood and what makes them tick, what makes them angry, what upsets them, things like that. I really don't like, small talk, which is what most networking seems to be. Just kind of like blah, 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 blah. And I'm not very good at like selling myself, which is also part of networking, talking about yourself and talking about your career. I just don't like doing it. I never have. It's one of these things that you kind of have to do. So, but you're good at it. I mean, you just reached out to me randomly on LinkedIn. So, I mean, that's impressive, so well done on that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
I have been reaching out to a lot of people, like the people who care, they only reach out to you again, like replying back. Most of them just ghost you, like
Sure.
Must be busy. I'm not saying like they don't see your message, but must be busy. People have like packed schedule, but I'd say like connections makes a lot of sense in your early age, at least in your early career.
Yeah. I mean, all the time, and say yes to everything. Say yes to almost everything. Say yes to as many things as you can. I mean, when I get offers to do these kind of interviews, I'm always like, of course, yes, because as many things as I can do, I'll get my name out there, whatever it is. It's always good.
It's a win-win for both of us. Plus for both of us. Yeah. You don't know like any opportunity to like just knock on your door next day, like, hey Jeff, like we're trying to get someone on the board and like producing this feature film, like you get the chance.
You never know. Yeah, never know.
How much YouTube content you consume, like long form content?
YouTube's interesting because it's taking over TV. It's becoming TV. I watch a lot. Do I watch a lot of YouTube? I watch a decent amount of YouTube. I mean, I watch Netflix too, and whatever, I'm trying to watch less stuff because, the more stuff you're watching, the less stuff you're making. And YouTube, there's just so much on there, but I do use it for things like, learning, like if I need to figure out how to edit, to use a filter for the podcast or whatever. I mean, it's great for stuff like that, learning how to do a thing very quickly. If you have a problem with your editing software, you can just go on there and Google it. Yeah. But I don't know how much YouTube I would say I watch. It really depends on the week and how lazy I'm feeling, frankly.
Do you follow someone like, especially like, okay, I like this guy, content creator?
Yeah, this guy, Andrew Callahan, it's called Channel 5. He does really interesting. He's like this independent media guy who started just by started this thing called All Gas, No Brakes. But he doesn't do that anymore. It's a long story. But he would just drive around in a RV, a recreational vehicle, drive around the United States and go to random weird events and concerts and interview people. And now he's kind of started to do content where he's like going to, Mexico to see how bad it is, and like at the border towns with immigration, or he's going to like the tunnels underneath Las Vegas to talk to the drug users down there, the homeless people who live down there. He's doing really compelling content, and it's not partisan. There's no political slant to it. He's just kind of presenting it. He's very good. If you get a chance, I'd check him out. He's really good. And then I ended up watching I'm watching a lot of these, and I'm not proud of this, but it's really great content. What's blown up on YouTube in America lately is body cam videos, like police body cam videos. So it's like you're basically what's that?
POV?
Yeah, body cam. But no, yeah, kind of. But like the police officers have to wear these body cams now, these cameras on their bodies, you can get the video footage if you do a public records request, I guess. I've never done it. But people are getting this footage and then putting the best ones on YouTube. And it's kind of fascinating sometimes because you get to see basically like, the show Cops. The show Cops? They don't have that. Anyway, there used to be a show called Cops where it was like basically this film crew would follow the police around and as they arrested people. And so this is basically just like Cops, but you're actually getting like a point of view camera of people being arrested. I don't know why I find this so fascinating, but I find it pretty fascinating.
You remember any TV shows back in the days like you used to follow a lot?
Oh, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, those were great. Mad Men was great. God, all those shows. The Wire was really good. Yeah, vintage TV was not vintage, but My So-Called Life, that was an amazing show when I was a kid. Yeah, that was shot on film too. What else did I watch? Yeah, all these. But Breaking Bad was one of the Lost. That was a good one. Lost was a good show. Yeah, The Leftovers. There's still good TV, which is good. There's still great stuff happening on TV. So, Nathan, for you, yeah.
Let's say if you have to start it from the scratch, like you can get a chance to start from scratch. Let's say you're 51, you get a chance next day from scratch. You're going to start from scratch with whatever knowledge you have right now. How's your approach going to be?
I'm starting from scratch with all the knowledge I have.
Yeah, with the knowledge you have, you're starting from scratch. What would you do differently to get more success, to achieve more in less time?
I would have made more of my time in film school and met more people and networked with more people and formed more relationships with people in film school and in New York too. Now knowing, again, there's always the networking thing because I really did, that is so many of the jobs I've gotten have been just through people I know. And I'd say the people that I know who are who are very successful are ones that have a giant network of people that they work with. So yeah, I would say that. I would say that I would stop overthinking everything. A lot of times I will get stuck on a project because I'm thinking about it too much. Just done is better than perfect. I think that a lot of times people who work in the arts or creatives or work in video, they get stuck in their head and they end up working on a project for far too long instead of just like making it, just like I think that spending less time ruminating and thinking about the project and just making it and finishing it and calling it done and then moving on to another thing. I think that's a valuable skill that I would have done because I think people get very precious about their work. They get very they get stuck in one project and they get very, very obsessed with it and precious about it. And I don't think that that's necessarily, in some cases it's good, but I think in some cases you're just delaying. You're afraid of failure. It's like with me, it was like I'd make a work and I wouldn't finish it. I'd be editing for years because I think in the end I was afraid of finishing it and it not being good. There's a fear of failure, right? Because to finish it is to say, here it is. Now you have to see it. And so, but that you got to shut that off, because if you're good at what you do, you can make a thing and it'll be good. And you just got to trust in that, which is why the podcast has been good for me, because the podcast, I'm making one every single week. And certainly it's less work, but I'm putting a lot of effort into it and I have to put one out, right? Have they all been great? No, but it's been great for me because I have to get one out every week and I'm making myself do it. And it feels good to be like having to be productive on my own terms every single week, if that makes sense. So it's unfortunate that I didn't figure this out until I was 51, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Procrastination. I was supposed to say that word, procrastination.
Procrastination is a big one. That's a struggle.
Huge.
Procrastination comes from a lot of different places, though. Like it comes from fear, I think, is mostly where it comes from. In a lot of creatives, it comes from fear of failure, because to finish a thing is to possibly fail with a thing, and you will fail, but you'll also succeed. But you're not going to know until you just keep doing it, keep making the work. Because if people talk about making work all the time and they just and they don't do it. Just be the person who makes the work and continues to make the work. I think that's the most important thing, really, is to actually do the thing that you say you're going to do, and tell people you're going to do a thing, because then they'll keep you accountable. Be like, I'm going to make this film. Tell people that you're going to do it, because then if you don't make it, you'll feel like an asshole, right? They'll be like, what's the film going? You're like, oh, I haven't made it. Oh, well, but yeah, I think be the person who does the thing. That's the hardest thing, because there's so many people in this world who are creatives who don't do the work. They talk about doing the work and they just don't do it. Be the person who does the work. Don't be so precious with your work. Just put it out there. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this episode till here. You have any social media handles like people can visit you?
Yeah, it's I'm 1FJeff on everything. ONEFJEF on pretty much everything. Instagram, Twitter, Threads, all of them. And my podcast is called 1FJeff. You can find it on any of the platforms. ONEFJEF. It's on Spotify, YouTube, all the things.
I'll just drop down your links. You can check it out here, like social media handles. You can check out his work as well. He has done a really great work in the industry.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for joining this episode, and we'll be in touch. Sure. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, man.